This is Jessica Dunn, and we're going to discuss capital budgeting. Capital budgeting is the process of evaluating and selecting long-term investments. Um, so we're not looking at short-term, we're looking at long-term, and these should fit the investor's goal of maximizing their wealth. If you're looking at short-term, we would be talking about an operating expenditure. A capital expenditure is where you purchase something that will produce benefits for a period of time greater than 1 year. Operating expenditures is where you purchase something that has benefits for only 1 year or less. Fixed assets are usually considered capital expenditures, but not all capital expenditures are fixed assets because fixed assets are typically long term. That's why they're called fixed assets. They have benefits for longer than 1 year, but you can purchase items that are not fixed assets but are still considered long-term assets. So there are 5 steps associated with the capital budgeting process. First, you develop ideas. So you're going to come up with new ideas and propose those ideas. Second, we review and analyze the different proposals. Third, we make a decision. So we decide which projects we want to accept. We then implement that project that was chosen, and we follow up. So when we're talking about capital budgeting, they can fall into one of 2 categories. They can be either independent projects or mutually exclusive. So whenever you're proposing these ideas, you may not be able to implement every idea. They may be competing ideas. By accepting one, you reject another. So independent projects are projects whose cash flows are unrelated. They have no effect on your decision to accept or reject another project. So by saying yes to one, it has no bearing on your decision whether or not to accept another. So independent projects, let's just do a simple example. Let's say that you're going to the vending machine after class and you look and say, well, do I want a Coke? Yes. Now that has no bearing on whether or not you want a candy bar to go with it. Those are independent decisions. As long as you have enough cash, you can do both. Mutually exclusive projects are projects that compete with one another. So by accepting one, you're automatically eliminating another. So let's say you go to that same vending machine and you're deciding what you want to drink, Coke or Pepsi. If you chose Coke, then you're automatically ruling out Pepsi. So they're mutually exclusive. So mutually exclusive, when we're talking about in a firm setting, a firm in need of increased production capacity could expand its current plant, or they could acquire another, or they can contract with another company. So that would be 3 different proposals, and each are mutually exclusive. By accepting one, you're rejecting the others. We can break these down and into the way that companies have cash. Either they have unlimited funds or they have capital rationing. Unlimited funds, this is the financial situation where a company has unlimited capital. And so they can accept in every independent project that meets an acceptable return. Capital rationing is where a firm only has a set number of dollars to invest, and so they have different projects that are competing for these dollars, and they can't just accept every single project that comes across their desk that meets minimum criteria. Obviously, most firms operate under capital rationing. They only have a fixed number of dollars to invest and want to invest with the projects that have the highest, most stable returns. So we can take different approaches to evaluating projects. We can have an accept-reject approach. This is where we evaluate our proposals to determine whether or not they meet the firm's minimum acceptance criteria. And if they do, then we automatically accept or reject the project. We don't have to evaluate all the projects and then make the decision. We just accept every single one that meets minimum criteria. Now, this usually is something that you can only employ if you have independent projects and you have unlimited capital. If you have mutually exclusive projects or if you have capital rationing, then you're most likely going to choose a ranking approach where you look at every project and you rank them based on some predetermined measure like rate of return and only accept the very best.